Welcome to another gameplay and review with Gamer Dan. Today we're looking at the T-34-88, a very special premium Tier 6 medium Soviet tank. This tank can train both Soviet and German crews. It is available for coming up very soon, and it was available about a year ago, so I suggest you pick it up. It does have 720 hit points. Speed limit is 54 kilometers per mile. Acceleration is okay. View range is 360. Turret rotation is 46 degrees per second, which is really a nice feature to have on this tank. 9.52 rounds per minute. Can be increased with a good crew, brothers in arms, maybe some premium consumables, stuff like that. This tank is very similar to the T-34-85. This next slide, and I apologize for the quality, it's not the greatest, but this next slide shows that the T-34-85 gets a little bit better rate of fire, a little bit better penetration, but does get less damage per shot. The gun elevation is 25 degrees compared to the T-34-88, 22 degrees. This screen shows the armor model for the tank, courtesy of targetdamage.com. Best armor is going to be on the hull, on the turret and the matlet. Although you can't really rely on the armor all that well, as bounces are not too common in this tank. I'm going to be showing you 3 different matches in a Tier 6, Tier 7, and Tier 8, just to see what you can potentially do with this tank. Excuse me. This is the T-34-88 in a Tier 6 match. Himmelsdorf standard battle. As you can see there, we are even tier for tier. Same amount of Tier 6s, Tier 5s, and Tier 4s. We don't have a dedicated scout, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to act as a scout for a little while, get some early on spots, and just kind of play it safe until the game progresses or the match progresses a little bit. Gonna go up to this area to get some initial spotting done. I don't have coated optics, I don't have binoculars, so I'm just relying on my crew, which is actually pretty good on this tank, and the premium consumable. There we go. An A-20, a Tier 4 scout tank, light tank if you will. And I don't know why it didn't move, but it cost him his life. They have 1 artillery, we have 1 artillery. See the Hellcat over there. Some heavies. See some gun exchange going on right here next to this building, so I'm just gonna play it safe just for a moment. I spot the T1 heavy. Get a lucky shot. So just by looking at the tanks that we've seen so far, 4 out of the 5 heavies have been spotted. We know their location. So 1 heavy is missing. Tried to take a shot at that ram, but I didn't have enough time. The T-34-88 really benefits from a gun lane drive. The aim time is not the greatest. Best way to play this tank I would suggest would be as a support tank, or a second line tank. Doesn't do real well front line, doesn't do real well brawling because of the armor, it's not the greatest. It does okay at sniping, but it's not the best. Toaster takes a shot at me, hits my tracks, pays for it with his life. Like I said, this tank is a very good support tank. Can it brawl? Can it swipe? Yes. It just is not really a brawling or sniping tank. It's meant for support. Although I'm going off of my own and not really supporting anyone, but I kinda am. I'm gonna go over here and knock off some health of this full health KV-1S. We don't need a KV-1S full health riding around. Again, I got a green teammate with me, which is nice. I'll let him finish the KV-1S as I spot the VK-36. Don't need for him to be full health either. Pardon me too, my voice is a little bit on the hoarse side. I had like a little cold that I'm getting over. I look at my compass map and I see a tank destroyer. I'm gonna back off. Good thing I backed off when I did. It's always a very good idea to be well aware of your surroundings, well aware of your map positioning. If I hadn't have seen him and moved when I did, he would have put a shot into me, and he would have put 2 shots into me instead of just the one. I have that tank, and I know the gun arc is very narrow, so he's got to be looking at me pretty much head on just to be able to hit me. Excuse me. Got a couple tanks capping the enemy base, so he gives me his nice, juicy, long side, and I'll capitalize on that. There he goes. Now I remember hitting a VK-36, and there he is in the distance, and it looks like he's trying to take out our artillery. Put my 3rd shot into him. If you look at the roster up above, you see that we have 1 tank that's not even playing, which will actually work out because that tank's at the base, and we can spot he can spot the VK-36 for us, even though he's not even playing. There he is right there. Saw him on the map there. 3 on 3, but really in reality it's only 2 on 3. Me and this heavy are going to go defend the base because we know that VK-36 is very near it, and we don't want him to win by cap. There's still a medium and a tank destroyer to deal with. I know the jumbo killed whatever was trying to cap at the enemy base, so I know he's back there somewhere. We don't have to deal with him right now. The tank destroyer, however, I have no idea where it's at, so I don't know if it's full health, half health, low health, you know, what kind of gun it's got. I don't know. But this VK-36 is focused on the heavy, probably bouncing, so I will take advantage of that and knock him out. 2 on 2. The jumbo was last seen roughly in here, so he's probably making his way. Being that I don't have a whole lot of health, I'm gonna play it nice and cool. I'm not gonna rush out there. If I had gone out there full speed, I might have seen this a little too late, not been able to react. Bounce my 1st shot. I see the tank destroyer on the edge of the compass map. I get him to take a shot again. I bounce in the machine gun port, which I thought I might be able to go through, but I couldn't. I went ahead and called out SOS so I could get the backup. Bounce a 3rd shot. Now the jumbo's probably feeling like he can take me because I bounced 3 shots. But I load premium, hit him once, hit him twice. 2 on 1, and the Hetzer doesn't have a whole lot of health. Bam. Get a side view on this tank. It's a very sexy looking tank, if I do say so myself. That was the tier 6 match. Next will be the tier 7. That was my first match in the tank for that particular day, and ×2 multiplier. This tank does not get a silver multiplier. It only gets a crew bonus. So you won't see any silver bonus, just extra crew bonus, which is a extra perk on top of it being able to train both Soviet and German tanks. Came in first on that match, did very well. And that's the kind of match you can have when you're top tier. Next one will be a tier 7, like I said. I tend to go to the EF23 area. That's kind of where I like to be, regardless if I spawn on the north side or the south side. This time we spawned on the north. Same thing, we have the same tier for tier tanks. 6 tier 6s, 6 tier 7s, and 3 tier 5s. Same on both sides. So this is a T-34-88 at tier 7. There is one of those new snakebite tanks. right there, in case you haven't seen one. And we're doing 45 plus or minus on this terrain, which is nice. Acceleration, like I said, is okay. Top speed is pretty good actually. And I can get to it. Of course, I'm not in the best terrain though. We have 4 lights, they have 2, so we're at a disadvantage health-wise because light tanks usually have a little bit less health than mediums and heavies and stuff in the same tier. Kind of goof on that shot. That is a Tiger, tier 7. We're in a tier 7 match, so it's always nice to take out the top tier tanks early on. Of course, I'm not doing a very good job at that at this point, but we'll see how we deal with him later. He seems to be behind some kind of cover of some sort, so I'm gonna let this T-21 know that I mean business.
They found us. That one left a big
Auto aim
hole.
that one, because I can.
Ready to fire.
This tank has 7 degrees of gun depression, and right there would have been nice to have an extra couple degrees. If I had maybe 9 degrees of gun depression, I might have been able to take that shot. I did receive 1 shot from that Tiger, but I will be able to put a lot more shots into him than he would have been able to put into me. There's the second shot.
Right through.
Building is totally destructible, so I'll do that.
The enemy knows our location.
Spotted, but he's not even looking at me, so no worries.
That's gotta hurt.
301 on that one. That was a nice roll. Artillery's aimed this way, and the light tank finishes him off. Very nice. Got a Dicker Max in the distance. Aim time, like I said, is a little bit on the sluggish side. So definitely you need a gun lane drive on this tank.
Another one down.
Gun lane drive for sure, and everything else is optional. You can put a gun rammer if you like, or binoculars, or whatever you might think that you might need, or for your personal preference. A couple artillery pieces, which I cannot hit, so I'm gonna reposition myself and take another peek. Of course I still can't hit them. Getting this tank wet, I should have showed you the side view of this tank, because when it's wet it looks very, very sweet. It's very sexy looking tank when it's wet. So I suggest if you have one, get it wet and take a good look at it. It's really nice.
Loaded and ready.
Alright, we've got the advantage now. We've only lost 3 tanks and they've only got 1 left. And for some reason, a couple of the green team decide to start capping. I can see capping, like 1 tank capping to, put extra pressure on the enemy, but 2? Overkill. And that's what we're chatting about right now. If you look at the comms indicator, that's what we're saying. We're saying like, hey, you don't need to cap, maybe only 1. We get more points if we kill. So that's what we're working on. Now I'm certainly too far away to get him on time, but those 2 light tanks are not. And that's one very important reason for light tanks to not die in the first 2-3 minutes. If they stay alive long enough, they can certainly contribute the whole match. And those 2 light tanks were able to take out the T-29 in time for us to win by killing, not necessarily by capping. Another victory. Came in second. It's a pretty decent match. 13 shots fired, 7 pen, 9 connected. Last battle that I have to show you is on Sacred Valley, standard battle. By the way, that comic book, the World of Tanks rollout comic book, is available right now. I bought myself a copy, and they only had 3 copies in the comic book store, so, you know, go pick one up. Our team is comprised not evenly this time. We've got an extra tier 8, we've got an extra tier 7, they have an extra tier 6, plus a tier 5. So we have a slight advantage on the team from the get-go. And if you look at the roster, 47R's team or clan leader is actually in the match with me as well. We're playing random matches, so we're not platoon, but there he is right there. Clan leader. He's going to end up taking the other flank, and I'm going this side. I tend to favor this little village up here in the H8 area. Most of the time, I'll say 75% of the time, I come to this area up here and just kind of hang out for a few minutes before I make my next move. Now, I am a tier 6 in a tier 8 match. I have no business being in front line, but I just can't help it. It's just me. Spot 1, spot 2.
Unlocking target.
Oh, maybe I didn't spot that syphilis. I thought I did. I wait, take a shot, and it cost me a big chunk of health. My turret ring is hit, and I lost my driver. Can't turn my turret right now. Ooh, took another hit.
We fixed the turret.
And I'm in big trouble now. I'm very low on health. Not even a minute and a half into the match, and I've lost 80% of my health. 80. So now I need to play it very safe. Right here, I wish I had a couple more degrees of gun depression, but I don't. That 7 degrees is workable, but not optimal. That Motherland there should be able to handle himself, as he has pretty good armor, but you can see the turret turned kind of sluggishly now, unlike before, when it's working just fine.
They found us.
I'm spotted, so I definitely need to back up. I'm basically a one-shot kill for many of these tanks. Artie decides to take a shot at me. There are 14 tanks total. I'm only one of them, so I don't know why he's shooting at me first.
It's like we're shooting
But anyway,
spitballs.
T-32 is going to be real tough to crack, so I switched to premium. Got 14 rounds on me. Artie takes another shot and misses, obviously, by the sound of that shell right there. And of course I hit the dirt when I try to hit that T-32. Hellcat, I'm not sure what he was thinking, but he just went down. So I'm going to back off a little bit. I'm not abandoning the flank. I'm just repositioning myself for a more optimal position. Of course, looking at the replay, I know my driver's dead, but when I was playing it in real time, I don't think I realized at this point. I was just focused on getting away from that T-32.
Focus on this
And
location.
now that I'm in a better spot, it's time to support my team the best way I know how. I'm a one-shot kill. Best thing I can do is spot for the snipers and harass the enemy team.
Driver's
Repaired
back
my
up.
driver, or healed my driver.
They found us. Punched a hole in their armor. Loaded and ready.
Was able to hit that IS. Again. Now what I'm trying to do at this point, this is my mentality, is they know I'm a one-shot when they look at me. I'm sure they know it, but I need to keep firing. I need to keep making my presence known. I need them to know that I'm right here. The reason is, if they don't know that I'm here, they'll just roll on by and they might take out our artillery. They might be more of a nuisance to our tank destroyers. So I want them to know I'm here. I want them to focus on me. I want them to take shots at me and miss, stuff like that. So that way I can keep them spotted longer and let my tank destroyers and artillery knock them out. Alright, perfect. I'm spotted again. That's what I want. I want them to know I'm here, and I want them to know I'm firing at them. Of course, I'm not doing a very good job with that I-6, but I did hit him. And And I'm letting my teammates hit him too, so. There we go. Second hit. That shot that he just took, I think he was frustrated. I think he was annoyed that I kept taking shots at him. So he just fired his gun just to do it. Come on, keep looking at me. Don't worry about my snipers.
We just dinged them. Right at us.
Yep. Alright, just narrowly missed me. Now that the IS-6 is down, the artillery actually took down the T-32 while we were watching that IS-6. So what we were able to do on the side was take down a full health IS-6, full health IS, and a mostly full health T-32. And that's what me and this other tank destroyer were discussing a second ago. That's what we were saying.
Focus on this area.
Find a medium nearby, low health. I hit him for 204, and I wish I'd rolled a little higher because I could have knocked him out with one shot. But anyway. More or less that's where the artillery is at based on the angle of his fire. Or he could be on the other side of the bridge, I'm not sure. Looking at my teammates, we got 2 tank destroyers on full health and 2 heavies that are hurting. Tanks left.
Focus attention here.
I haven't seen any more activity on this side, so I'm gonna go ahead and push up, being that I think we knocked out everything that was coming this way. They're down to 3. The heavy tank has been spotted, the hammer. The artillery piece is more or less around the base or around the bridge area, which means the tank destroyer's location is still unknown. He could be up here, or he could be at their base. So I'm gonna just play it a little bit cautiously. Oops. Play it a little bit cautiously, and if I don't spot him in the next 15 seconds or so, he's probably at their base. Keep rolling forward. So far so good. I've got enough cover to back up if I need to. Let me see here. Okay, the tank destroyer is probably at the base. He's probably not on this side of the bridge. That tank destroyer over there is saying that he'd like the opportunity to get another kill. If I remember correctly, that's what he was saying. They're both at the base area.
We've been detected.
Okay. Look at this tank destroyer. Look at him. He's looking back towards the cap, meaning that the arty, he's probably talking to the arty. So let's look to the top left of the screen. Looking at the top left, looking at the top left. I see a tree go down. There's the arty. Already gave away his position a little early. Of course, you know, I would have seen him anyway, but I knew he was coming. Take another shot at him, finish him off.
The enemy's got only 1 tank left. We can do this.
Dirty little monkey there is saying that he wants to kill. Fine by me. I will be a nuisance to the enemy. Keep him spotted, take some shots. I'm lucky he didn't hit me on that one. I tried to hit that flat part of the next to the gun, but it didn't go through.
Locked and loaded.
Already did a little splash damage for me there. See if I can keep him spotted so the tank destroyer can get him.
Been detected.
And there we go. Good game, everybody.
Great job, man.
Victory. And that's how you can play a tier 6 and a tier 8 match. Just help your team in whatever you can. 24 shots fired, only 8 of them penned, and that's because I used all 14 of my premium rounds, so a third of my rounds actually penetrated. I hope you enjoyed this gameplay and review of the T-34-88. I suggest you buy it, because it's basically 2 tanks for the price of 1. And please rate, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you next time.
They found us! Looks like that one went right through. We didn't penetrate their armor. Unlocking target. Loaded and ready. Ready to fire on target. Focus on this location.